So today we're going to be explaining a little bit more about economic engineering. So in our class of Introduction of Production Engineering, our professor encouraged us to search a little bit more about our subject, that in this case is economic engineering, meaning that economic engineering is one of the fields inside the major production engineering. At this point, you will be probably asking yourself, what is economic engineering after all? There's a lot of ways to describe what economic engineering is, but at this beginning of our presentation, I will stick with a most simple definition, then we will work on it later. Well, in simple terms, economic engineering is a set of analysis, evaluations, researches that has an economic principle applied to it, that in the end makes it easier for a decision maker make the best decision, having in mind the best costs and the best returns, meaning that the decision maker in whatever scenario would look for a better cost return ratio. So in our research trying to define what economic engineering is, we searched through the three main institutions here in Brazil, that is CONFEA, which means Federal Council of Engineering and Agronomy here in Brazil, ABEPRO, that is Production Engineering Association, and ENAD. Of course, there were some small differences between the definition from each institution, but at the end of it all, they said almost the same thing or almost the same topics. The three main topics were ethics in work, sustainability for the future, and continuous innovation, because after all, economic engineering is a field in engineering, and engineering is based in technology. And with technology always evolving, engineering is always evolving, and therefore economic engineering is continuous evolving also. After all this research, our group's conclusion was that economic engineering, after all, is one of the most important fields in engineering, because most likely throughout the engineer's career, he will have to use economic engineering a lot of times, and in many scenarios, trying to make the best decision, choose the best scenario, and he will have to use the mathematical analysis and tools to make the data that they have from each option or each scenario and discover which of the scenarios or options will give him the best return for the dollar he invested in.
Alright guys, I'm going to start talking about the engineering economic and all the topics. I'm going to start talking how we do our research. So we use the Web of Science with the relationship between economic engineering and all the topics. And what helped us a lot was the TEMAC, and the TEMAC is the Consolidated Meta-Analytic Approach Theory, developed by Professor Ari Melo Mariano, and the TEMAC assists us in bibliometric analysis. So like they make our research much easier. So how I was saying, engineering economic and all the topics, so we use the query DS, impact analysis, or invest, or evaluation, and the topic we want to use in our research. So we found a substantial result set initially, so we began by filtering for sent articles to 2020 to 2024. This significantly reduced the number of results. Then we further refine this research to focus on direct relationship between manufacturing engineering and industrial engineering, which yielded us 1,700 results. So, feeling that we're still much to go through, we used the citation topics method tool to narrow down to economic topics, resulting 150 results and 500, depends on the topic we were using. So we use this search method for all topics after this first one, where we were figuring out how to do the search, and the rest of the topics become much easier. So I'm going to talk about we find many articles, so like measuring investment progress in ecological transition, the green investment tool, the gift, the mangroves was Kundu para India, competitive data training model with privacy evaluation for multiple stakeholders in IoT data markets, optimal risk adoption and capacity investment in technological innovation, promoting solid waste management and disposal through content evaluation and method. But among these articles, I would like to highlight these two, and they talk about economic engineering and recycle, and the other one is economic engineering and the landfill, but I'm going to start talking about the economic and the recycle. So we select the articles Pricing Decisions of the Internet Plus Recycling Platform Considering Consumer Behavior. The article demonstrates how game theory can optimize pricing and to increase platform profitability without competition from physical recyclers. This is relevant to economic engineering by modeling strategies that enhance efficiency and participation in recycling programs, promoting sustainability and reuse of the materials and resources. And the last one I would like to talk is economic engineering and the relationship between the landfill. So we choose the article Effect of Lignite Recirculation on Methane Production and Storage Capacity in Landfill that investigates the effects of lignite recirculation in landfill in Istanbul. The study reveals that recirculation increased landfill gas LFG production and methane fraction CH4 in the gas while reducing the time required for waste stabilization. These findings are relevant to economic engineering by demonstrating how lignite recirculation can influence the economic and environmental aspects of landfill management, promoting efficiency and sustainability in these areas. So, like I said, we have a lot of articles and a lot of research that we make. So if you want to read more about each one of them, you can go to our report that they are having a great explanation that what is every relationship between economic engineering and the topics. These two that I choose to talk about is what our group thought that was the most important about these ones. Of course, each topic is important, but not just that, because in our opinion and in my opinion and in my group opinion, we see that economic engineering is important not only for business but also for the environment, and it's very good to know about this. And thank you. This is our presentation.